So today we want to talk about how you can find your customers. This is something that we commonly run into with businesses, is how to really understand who your customer is. When we work with a business, when somebody comes to us and says, hey, we need help with our online marketing, one of the things that we ask for or work with our clients on is to understand who is your target customer. The more we understand about who that customer is that you need to be in front of, then that drives a lot of what we are going to be doing for you. And it's the same for your own business. The more you understand who your real customer is, then the better it is for you and the more effective your marketing is going to be in finding those people that you can work with that are going to spend money with you. So that's what we want to talk about today, are how do you find these people? So to begin with this, if you are an established company that has been around for a while and you want to make sure that you really understand who your customer is, take time to look at your customers. Now, a few things that you can do is one is literally look at your customer. Sit down and ask yourself, what is the average age of our customer? What kind of characteristics do they have? Are they people that go on lots of vacations? Are they people that buy certain types of vehicles? Are they people that have certain types of hobbies? Are they a certain type of gender even? Look at those factors. Who is it that you want to go after? Who are the people that are spending money in your business? And document that. Take the time to document that. If you are not documenting this and you have a current business, make sure you are taking the time to document this. Who are these people? Do they have certain types of jobs? Do they have certain types of income levels? Spending habits, all those things are very important to you as a business, because the more you understand about who your customer is, then the better you're going to have in putting your marketing together. Because if you know that your customer is somebody who buys Chevy type vehicles, then you might want to consider doing some marketing around Chevy dealerships or around other events or other things that deal with Chevys or people who drive Chevys. Those kinds of things are really, really important. If you know that your customers are outdoorsy, then consider some guerrilla marketing around the local trails or camping areas. Those things are going to be great. If your customer loves to camp, it would be really nice for you to adopt a highway near a lot of the camping grounds so that people can see that your business actually helps keep that area clean. How cool is that? That is going to be awesome marketing, and it's going to be altruistic in helping your business. So those are going to be great things to help get your name out there in front of the people that will buy from you. So just be aware of that. The more you understand about who these people are, the better it's going to be. So if you have questions as we go along today about how you can find out who your real customer is, let us know. Those are the kind of things that we want to be talking about today. So a couple of things for you is if you have a list of emails or cell phone numbers of your customers, one really great way that you can use those is upload those into Facebook ads, create what's called a custom audience. And when you do this, you will have the ability to leverage Facebook to understand your customer better. This works really well. It's a great tool to use. So get an email list of your customers or get a cell phone list of your customers. Either one works. You upload that spreadsheet into your custom audience. Facebook will go out there and find those people and pull that information together and give you some ideas of who is your customer. Great way to understand who they are. And use that information to support and feed into all the marketing that you're doing. It makes a huge difference. So, when it comes to marketing, there's two major things that the average consumer does not want. They do not want to be interrupted, and they do not want to see stuff that they don't care about. So the more you can dial that in and get it right to the people, and it'll help tremendously. So like I said again, if you find out something unique about your customers, like they go to the rodeo, or they mountain bike a lot, or they frequent certain bars, or whatever it is, focus on that and realize that, and then start coming up with marketing ideas of how can we reach them in those areas in a way that's not obtrusive or intrusive or obstructive, to their life. Because if it's something that they want, if it's something that they like, they don't mind seeing the advertisements. That's a big thing. And so long as it's not intrusive in our lives, that makes it even better. So those are great things to do. So consider making sure that you're finding out more about your business. Now, if you have a B2B type business, like you go after business owners, then the Facebook ads tactic of building that custom audience might not always work. If you have their cell phone numbers, you can still find their personal profiles and connect those together. But sometimes they don't always work well, because business emails and personal emails, you'll probably get a business email instead of a personal email, and their personal email is probably the one they're using to log into Facebook. So cell phone numbers will work better for a B2B strategy. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to consider doing surveys. Have you ever surveyed your customers? Have you ever reached out to them and said, hey, we want to understand you better? Do you read the newspaper, yes or no? Do you subscribe to certain magazines, and if so, which ones do you subscribe to? Do you, which social networks do you prefer to use? All those kinds of things are really good. What kind of hobbies and interests do you have? So one thing you can do is interview your customers, have it as a part of a form they fill out to gather some information about them, do it as a follow-up maybe to talk to them a little bit more. Those are good ways of gathering that information about your customer. Another way is to observe them. Observe the people when they come in. How are they dressed? How do they act? What kind of car are they driving? Those things are another way that you can learn about them, is just observe them in their life. If you're a service-based company and you go into somebody's home, then just take a minute and realize, okay, what size home is this? What kind of cars do they drive? You could learn a little bit about them just by keeping an eye on what's going on out there. So thanks to everybody for joining with us today as we continue to talk about how you can how can you find your customers? Because the more you understand about them, the better. Another way to find more customers for your business is to look at your competitors. If you have, especially like a restaurant or a retail location, if your competitors are in that space as well, just seriously consider watching them. If you're a restaurant and you have another competing restaurant that's in the area and you want to see who are they going after, then go out there and follow them. Go out there, like park across the street and just watch them. Just observe how many people come in, what are the typical ages or genders of the type of people, what kind of cars do they drive. Those things will give you some ideas to say, oh, here's the kind of market that they're attracting. Is that the market we want, or is that or do we want a different market? And it's totally okay to go after a different market than your competitors. Totally okay. But you want to really make sure that you know who that customer is that buys your product, and really go after them. This is something that's really fascinating if you ever watch Shark Tank, that oftentimes when the sharks ask the entrepreneurs about their business and who is this customer, who is buying this, sometimes the entrepreneurs will act like they don't know who this customer is. So who's actually the one that's buying this? We don't know who it is. We haven't really followed up on that. Oh, well, that could be a problem. So make sure that you are dialed in on those customers. The more you know about them, the better. It's going to help make your marketing way more cost effective and make it easier for you to connect with the people who can spend money with you. So an example of how this does make a difference, especially when it comes to online marketing, is we had a company that had a big Facebook following on their Facebook page. Hey, thanks for the hearts, we appreciate that. We had a company that hired us because they had a big Facebook following, but their Facebook page was not converting. They weren't getting people coming from their Facebook page to their website to buy. And so they asked us to help them. And so we sat down and did an analysis with them and asked them, of course, who is your typical customer? Who buys from you? And it was a product that was designed to help keep baby bottles warm during the day. So they were going after women who had multiple children, because you need to have lots of bottles or juggle those kids around, and it's a big hassle to go out with your kids because of that problem. So or working women, so women who are trying to balance a career and family. And so both groups of women have problems with logistics and dealing with finding bottles. Because if you go to the park, you can't find warm water, and then you've got to get it mixed and all that. It takes forever, and the baby's crying the whole time you're doing this. So to have a bottle that you can just pull out that's the right temperature and stick in their mouth is awesome. So that's who they went after was women. So we sat down with them and said, okay, so you're probably going after women that are at least around 35 years old. Between 30 and 35 is your low end, and probably around 45-ish is your high end for them. So that's what you want to look at. Women who have multiple kids are going to be in their 30s, and women who have a career and a kid are usually waiting to get their career established before having a child, and so they tend to be a little bit older. So it's 35 to 45-year-old is really your ideal range for this, and obviously it's women. Men don't care, so that's just the way it is. They would love these, but it's more the women that are going to buy them and use them. So we talked with them and said, okay, so this is who you need. So now let's go look up the insights on your Facebook page. So when you have a business Facebook page, you have insights. Great tool, highly recommend getting in there and using it. Review it often. So we went in to look at their insights, and we found out of the 22,000 followers they had on Facebook, they were overwhelmingly 18 to 25-year-old women. So the problem is they were reaching women who had no children. So no wonder nobody was buying from them from Facebook. They were talking to the wrong customer. That's not who their ideal customer was. Now they were educating these young women in it, so when they do have families or have kids, then they would be like, oh yeah, I followed that one Facebook page years ago that could use this. So that would be a great thing. However, they need sales now. And so we sat down and said, okay, what are you putting on your Facebook page? And we realized they're putting out a lot of cutesy baby stuff. Oh, let's put out cutesy baby pictures and and different things like that. And the younger women who didn't have their own children were liking those pictures and really being attracted to that. And so we said, okay, if you are a mother who is working and having a child, what are the kind of articles you want to read? What are things you want to learn about? So work-life balance, productivity tips, those kinds of things. How to take your kids to the park without ruining your day. So, and especially women who had multiple children, those logistic type things was what they were wanting to see. And so we realized that's more of what they want to see. So we changed the type of content going out on their Facebook page to attract the right customer. And their following started to do this. The younger women were leaving their page and the older women were coming to their page. And now their page has a greater chance of actually making a sell. So the more you understand about your customers, the better you will be at getting to the right person. That is so, so important. So, hey, thanks guys. Thanks everybody that's continuing to join us today as we talk about how to find your customers, how to know who that customer is and go after them. Another good example of this was a personal products care company that wanted us to do some online marketing for them as well. They had a product that had several uses, like they identified several different types of users for their product. Some were women, some were men, like some were working men, some were younger men who were more interested in self-care. A lot of women liked it because it was self-care and improved their life as well. So they had these several different people that would use their product. When we talked with them and said, okay, so we have these people who want to use your product. The reality is who is paying for the product? Who's the one that's buying it? And we realized that the men aren't necessarily the ones that are buying it. Some of the young men would, but most likely it's girlfriends and wives that are buying the product for the men in their life. So while we want to create content that attracts these men in so that they learn about this product and see its application and use, which is good because they're an end user, so we want to attract them because they will drive some of that sales. The reality is we want to make sure that a lot of our content is towards the women. So if we're going after a man who's working like an electrical line worker or working in a mine somewhere, somebody who's doing a lot of hard construction or industrial work, they could really use this product, but they're obviously not going to be the ones out buying it. So we want to write articles that are geared towards their wives. So how to help your man smell better, how to help your man prevent rashes and chafing from a hard day's work, how to help, how to compliment your man, or how to do those things. So we still want to put a few things out for the men, but then most of it is geared towards those ladies because they're the ones that are going to spend the money for the product. So we needed to get that in. So realize sometimes there is a difference between who uses your product and who buys your product. Sometimes you'll have this happen with teenagers. You'll have teenagers who use your product. They're the ones that are spending the money to do it. We had a young lady that we worked with that did acrylic nails, a special type of acrylic nail. And so teen girls were using it all the time, but it was their moms that were spending the money for them. So we wanted to attract both of them. You have a bit of a dual market going on. So you want to understand when those dynamics happen because that's going to make a huge difference. Now in a B2B setting, this still applies. Who is your customer? What type of company are they in? What kind of income levels? What type of careers or education do these people have? What are their hobbies and interests? Those things are going to make a difference. If you are a company and you work with executives or businesses who are in the outdoor space, then you might want to consider advertising in areas where there's outdoor marketing or there's people, these companies are marketing also. So if you have a local magazine, like here in Northern Utah, we have what's called the Hometown Values, and it is chock full of dentists and chock full of massage therapists and chiropractors and those kinds of people. And so if you want to sell to those people, then you might want to consider even being in the Hometown Values yourself, or talking to them, say, hey, actually I'm in the Hometown Values as well, and you can build a relationship in your sales with them. So maybe that's a good way to do it. Maybe it's I saw you in there. You can use it as a market research tool. So LinkedIn does have some great ways to help identify some of those people through ads. So that's not quite as good as the audience insights that Facebook can give you. But still do that due diligence to understand who is this customer, who buys from us, and what are the interests that they have. And then think about that, because the more you dial that in and realize, well, what's going on in this person's day? If I need to reach a marketing executive, then what are they going to be doing in their day? What kind of articles are they looking for? Those kinds of things. So if I know, oh, this is a marketing executive and they are in the tech space, so that means they're going to be looking for more articles about cool stuff happening in technology. So we want to create content that they will see and maybe even use in their own content marketing as well. So we can be a contributor and provider to them. So those are all things that you want to be focusing on. They will help you. Do take the time to understand your customer. We hear this all the time when we sit down with a business and say, okay, so who is your customer? Who buys? Oh, it's anybody with a house buys my products. Anybody that owns a home. Okay, that's still too broad. You need to dial it down from there. Are you dealing with your home? Are your people homeowners? Do they own certain size homes? Are they of a certain age? Are they younger? Are they people with kids? Are they people that are empty nesters? Dial that down as far as you can to help you in improving your marketing. Because if you just try to market to anybody that has a home, you're going to hit a lot of people who don't care. So look into that and realize, how do I get to these people? Now the other thing to realize too is it doesn't hurt to have several different customers. You can segment your customers out and say, okay, I go after homeowners, but we do certain types of marketing for retired people. That's when we do our home shows, or we do the county fairs or whatever, because a lot of retired people will go show up to get free stuff. So we're there to give free stuff to them, and we help connect with them and do stuff. Maybe you also have a different marketing message that goes towards your younger audience as well. So you can do different types of marketing and have your customers segmented out. That's actually good for your marketing, is to segment them out and realize, here's the message we want to get to this group. Here's the message we want to get to this group. Here's the message to get to this group. That's totally okay as well. Again, the more you know about them, the better. I don't think I can say that enough times. Hopefully I've got enough repetition in this episode to help you realize that the more you know about who your customer is, what are their hobbies and interests, what's going on in their life, the better. That'll help you so much in really dialing in your marketing. So start there. If you're unclear of what's going on in your marketing, not sure what to do, start there. Understand your customer. Understand why you are important to the customer. What is the value that you actually bring to them? And not what you think the value is, but what your customer believes your value is. The more you know that, and the closer you get those married together, the better it's going to be for your business. It'll give you a huge competitive advantage as you figure that out. And then go back and test and retest and check frequently what's going on with my customers. Are they the same? Are they evolving? Are we getting different customers? What's going on with that? And make sure that you are dialing into that right audience. It's going to help you out to help grow your business and move your business forward.